What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and before we dive into Mobile Suit Gundam Katana, we are going to cover the side story, Mobile Suit Gundam Acguy, 2,250 miles across North America. In this story, we follow two brothers. Norton and Birdie are Acguy pilots who lose their chance to leave the Earth. Now they must travel across the entirety of North America to make it back to California base. So let's get into this. Two brothers are walking across the continent in an Acguy. One brother is smoking a cigar while the other chastises him for smoking. They have a long journey ahead of them. This is Norton and Birdie Kisano. 3 days earlier, December 4th, UC0079, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Their Jucon is going down. Aqua gyms begin retreating. They came to this base to find HLVs to make the retreat, but found the base overran with EFF soldiers. Later, some soldiers come yelling at Birdie and Norton about letting the Jucon get destroyed. They plan on taking the Acguys, and the brothers can take the HLV back into space. They were stationed in New York, or as it's referred to in Gundam, New York, and came down to the eastern coast after their gal was shot down. The next day, they prep for launch in the HLV. When Aqua gyms begin attacking the base again, Norton heads into the hangar to get into the Acguy. He notices that they haven't launched yet. The sergeant tells him to get back to the HLV, but he and his brother are the only ones skilled enough to pilot the Acguy. One thing to note is that Norton refers to the Acguy as a kappa. This is a mythical frog beast in Japanese culture. You can't argue the design of the Acguy is based on the kappa, but I don't know if it has ever been stated by the production team. The gyms keep jumping out of the water, shooting, and diving back down. All the Zakus on the shoreline are becoming cannon fodder. The brothers sacrifice heading home to protect their comrades. Sarge whips out a rocket launcher and does damage on the ground while the brothers protect the Zakus. The HLV launches, but the Aqua gyms were just a distraction. EFF destroys the HLV. After the battle, the remaining fleet attempts to make their way to California. The commander orders them to head out on foot to California base to support the rear guard to prevent any water-based attacks. They will then make it to Lieutenant Ian Graydon's base. This is a 2,250-mile journey. Norton coughs from his cigar, and the two brothers begin their journey. Birdie is trying to figure out where they currently are. Norton tells him to give it up as he believes that they have been abandoned. They are starting to get hungry. That is when they stumble onto a Samson carrying a Magella attack tank. I love the Samson. They were retreating and got left behind because they got stuck in a ditch. The Acguys give the Samson a lift. They offer the brothers a ride and feed them. They should be able to catch up to the rear in about a day. They make another stop and they start playing baseball. The Samson commander picked it up while on Earth and asks Birdie to play with them. He doesn't want to play a sport created by Earth imperialists. If baseball still exists, there is no way people on the colonies don't know what it is. He sees Norton playing catch. Birdie seems to be the idealistic one preaching that they shouldn't adopt Earth's cultures. But he and his team are about having fun even up until the moment of death. Blatant foreshadowing, rude. That is when they spot enemies. They get into the Acguys and their Magella attack tank. Deprogs and fly mantas are flying over. The Magella attack top flies into action. Birdie just looks up and goes, "What are we supposed to do about this? We are amphibious mobile suits, we can't do anything." Norton looks on the ground to find a boulder. He chucks it up into the air and actually hits a fly manta. Birdie thinks it was a lucky shot. A squad of Deprogs come in for a bombing run. The Magella goes in and gets hit. Norton saves the Magella top and helps the pilot escape. They hide in the rocks as bombs come down around them. The Magella base is taken out, killing the Samson crew. The Magella top pilot was also taken out in the bombing run. After learning of the game of baseball, Norton grabs the downed Magella top and another boulder. He uses the Magella like a baseball bat and hits the rock up in the air. He is able to take out the Deprogs. Birdie buries the Samson crew along with their baseball bat. Norton finds the main forces over the hill. Unfortunately, they have all been taken out. There is nothing left for the two brothers but to continue walking. They still have 2,000 miles to go. The two continue on through North America. Norton is at his breaking point. He says, "That's it, I quit. I'm an Earth citizen now." He gets out of his Acguy and just runs away. Not too far away is a woman trying to get to the next town, but an old couple finds her to be a little bit shady. Norton comes over pretending to be her girlfriend so they can get directions. Her name is Jenny. She is a wandering dancer. Birdie is all alone when he spots 3 enemies approaching. Norton goes into the town where Jenny does a little breakdancing. That is when a gym and a gun tank come rolling in. This gun tank has a weird head. What's wrong with your head? This town has recently rebuilt and is trying to stay out of conflict. But the townfolk still have to work with the EFF occupiers. Norton gets on the Wappa and draws them away while Jenny runs away. As he heads back to the Acguys, EFF lays waste to the city. The two head into town to take out the Fetties. The gun tank fires its cannon towards the Acguys, vaporizing the townfolk, including Ginny. The Gems knock down Norton, but remembering Ginny's sick moves, he begins breakdance fighting in the Acguy. He breaks the Gem into pieces. He then uses those sweet moves on the gun tank, destroying the unit. Norton realizes that there is no place for him on Earth. He experienced love and loss in less than a few hours. The two brothers continue toward California base. They have 1,800 miles to go. The brothers stumble onto some crates and pillage all the food, but they are once again running low on sustenance. They also happen to find a riding whip. That is when a wild horse comes up to them. Norton doesn't like that Earth allows animals to roam free. He points his gun at it and says he is going to eat it. The horse reminds Norton of Sorma. We flash back to November of UC-0079 at California base. The brothers are running tests for an upcoming attack on Jaburo. They are testing the Acguy, the Juagu, and the Zogok. Norton finds these mobile suits quite ugly. That is when Commander Sorma Johansson comes riding up on a horse. He is going to be the pilot of the Acguy and is their trump card for Jaburo. This is all before Shar uses his trump card and breaks into Jaburo himself. Johansson comes from a family of one of the rich Zeon elites. Norton approaches the horse, and the horse says, "I will kill you." Johansson in the Acguy preps the mock battle with Norton. Johansson plays with him, but he underestimates Norton. He is able to get a hit on the Nepo baby, but Johansson still gets the upper hand. He hangs the Acguy. After the match, he lets the horse go and says that tame horses are no fun. The two will battle once again. In the present, they wonder if Johansson ever made it to Jaburo, or if he went back into space. They won't know until they make it to California. They continue walking. Norton nearly throws up drinking a Mam Cola. He doesn't understand how Earthnoids drink it. Little does he know that Earthnoids also hate it. It is just Yuji who likes it. They can't be picky right now as supplies are low. Norton is once again complaining and asks how much further. As Birdie answers, Norton says, "I don't want to know." They stumble onto a Komsai and some friendlies. A man calls out to Norton. It is his friend Hassan. They were friends in high school and he seems to know Birdie as well. They hear that Commander Garma may still be alive and is rallying troops in California. They don't think it is really Garma, but it is worth a shot. Of course, we know that this is Tara pretending to be Garmazabi from our Hooligans coverage. With Hassan's team is Lieutenant Aja, the masked Zeon soldier who was Tara's proxy. He says that the two could probably hitch a ride back to California base with them. They are relieved. Hassan mentions bowling. The two were apparently great bowlers back in the day. He mentions a Christmas tree, which in bowling is getting a spare with the 3, 7, 10 pins. Also, you guys know about bowling but not baseball? Suddenly, Type 61 tanks come towards the Komsai. He tells the Komsai to take off. Lieutenant Aja is in a Samson near the Komsai, trying to handle anti-air support. The Acguys do their best to allow the Komsai to get away, but they run out of ammo. There are still 3 Type 61 tanks left. One of them hits the Komsai, taking it out. Norton takes his brother's Acguy and rolls him like a bowling ball, and gets the Christmas tree spare, taking out the remaining tanks. Norton knew that Hassan always carried his bowling ball. He finds the ball and puts it next to Hassan's gravesite. The two brothers continue on to California base. They have finally made it into Zeon territory. They have to push towards California base headquarters. Their location might not remain Zeon territory for too long as the Federation is pushing back on the North American front. They are taking out Zeon one by one. Norton refers to it as being like whack-a-mole. Pressure underground begins building up. Suddenly an explosion goes off. It is huge. They initially think it is a nuke at first. This is the Zanzibar explosion that terrorists set off during the events of Hooligans. Shots go off around them. In the distance is a gun tank 2, a gun cannon 2, and the Gem light armor. It is the Slipner team. Peace talks were happening here. Then suddenly an explosion goes off and everyone is gone. The Slipner team believes it was the Acguy's doing. Suhan goes in to attack Norton. He holds his own for a moment, but the GM light armor is too fast. Birdie tries to protect Norton and gets his arm ripped off. The two Acguys go underground, forcing EFF to play a literal game of whack-a-mole. They mess with the Slipner team when they get a message from Hawk in the Nemesis Corps. They head to their location and let the two Acguys survive for now. The two continue walking to California base. They continue forward when Birdie's Acguy finally gives out. They are now down to 1 Acguy. That is when they notice a graveyard of EFF mobile suits, including the Gem light armor from the Slipner Corps. They notice survivors. It is Hawk and John. In Hooligans, we assume they were dead, and they just mysteriously showed up at the end for comedic effect. Here we see the Hyena Squad come to rescue the Nemesis and Slipner teams. It still doesn't explain how they survived fighting Gundam Pixie, but whatever. The hyenas are rocking Gem Strikers. Rather than letting the two pass, they begin fighting. The Sleipnir team recognizes these are the Acguys they ran into before. Birdie is still a sitting rock in his Acguy. Norton begins boxing one. One striker destroys Birdie's Acguy, but he was able to escape. He runs towards Hawk. This takes out one of the gems. Norton hides behind the downed Guntank 2. He gets into the gym. He could still use his sniper rifle. He shoots at Norton, and the Acguy is engulfed in flames. That is when his Acguy flies into the air. Hawk realizes that he is using the Nemesis secret technique, Sundrop. We see Hawk use this technique against Pixie and hooligans. Norton learned this on his own. Hawk sees him as a truly talented pilot. He blinds the striker and tears through the mobile suit. This manga goes with the philosophy that the pilot makes the mobile suit. This is proven by Norton being able to tear through these strikers, but Yuji in Striker is able to hold his own against a Gundam. A Striker is still technically superior though, I think. Norton grabs Birdie and they continue walking. They wonder why they let EFF go. Hawk says they are real praiseworthy men. Hawk's daily words of wisdom. Yesterday's enemy is today's pupil. Hawk Reuser, trademarked and restricted. They finally make it to California base where they see Zeon in the middle of a coup. The brothers wonder what is going on. They are informed of what has happened at the end of Hooligans, where the fake Garmazabi faction wanted to use the Zanzibars to do a Zanzibar drop on EFF, and the recovery team wants to use the remaining Zanzibar to go home. Norton goes and tries to find the commanders and demand to know what is happening. He tells them of the nuke that went off, not realizing it was a Zanzibar. But that explosion didn't take out as many forces as they thought. He tries to get them to retreat. They wonder where Captain Aja went. He of course runs off. Also, he was a lieutenant earlier and now he is a captain. Did he get a promotion, or is this an editorial accident? I will let you guys be the judge. Since Aja is gone, they call the retreat team cowards and allow them to take the Zanzibars, while they die in battle with honor. Some are mad that Norton just halved their forces with this move, but Norton is essentially responsible for the Zanzibars not attacking EFF and hooligans. Norton tells Birdie to get on the Zanzibar. He is going to stay behind and help him escape. As the chaos ensues at California base, beam blasts come from the ocean. It is the Gundam Marine type. The RAG 79 G1 Gundam Marine type is technically not a Gundam. It is closer to an enhanced Aqua Gem with a Gundam head. This is why it is a part of the RAG line of mobile suits and not an RX line. It has a modified harpoon on its left arm and a wired periscope on the back of its head. This functions as a commander unit for a squad of Aqua Gems. Weapons include a torpedo pod, an explosive harpoon gun, a hand anchor, a beam pick, and a beam rifle that works underwater. It approaches the mass driver system when Norton attacks the Gundam. He pushes the Gundam into the water where it does a whirlpool attack on the Acguy. A beam blast comes from behind. They see a giant shadow. This entire manga we get references to the Phantom of the Sea. It is assumed that the Gundam was the Phantom, but it is not. All the aquatic mobile suits Voltron together to form a giant monstrosity. Devil Gundam be damned. What do we call this? Voltron guy? Super Gog? Hyper Gog. Birdie is a part of this unit along with the fake Garmazabi aquatic team. The giant monstrosity fires on the Gundam, tearing it to pieces. It is barely able to make its retreat. The Zanzibar begins to take off. They are too late, but the monstrosity Voltrons into a bridge leading up to the mass driver system. Norton and Birdie run across the mobile suits, appearing as though it is walking on water. It attaches to the Zanzibar, and they make their way on the ship. Norton and Birdie head into space. The brothers' journey has come to an end, but they will never forget the monster of the sea that protected them while on Earth. And that will do it for this episode. Like Hooligans, I am instantly hooked. I love that there is a message to each chapter, and Norton somehow applies that message to the battle. Despite all the tragedy that befalls these two brothers, the two persevered and eventually made it home. Now that we have covered this one-shot, we can now move on to Mobile Suit Gundam Katana. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, whenever trouble is on your mind, get up and walk. Peace.